Previously on Sister Wives.
He clarifies in his talking head that Christine and Truly are moving to a state that hates him. What's going to stop her from teaming up with their legal system and going after me? I don't trust her. Whether she'll be good to me or not is unknown.
Okay, one, I don't think a state can hate you, but I'm sure he thinks that he is so great that one would. He did sue Utah or whatever, but it's not like Utah can pass a law just to spite him personally. This guy has an overinflated sense of importance to the world.
I really hope you're wrong, because I really hope that they pass a law. That's the anti-cody law.
All Codys must pay money to Christine.
Uh-oh. ID and registration, please. Sir, I'm going to ask you to exit your vehicle.
Is there a problem, officer?
Are you aware you are in violation of the newly passed statute 7104248, also known as the anti-cody law? Upon crossing state lines, you will be required to surrender all your money to Christine.
What? Oh!
In the event Cody tries to talk back, he will be kicked in the balls no less than 1 time, but no more than 3 times per incident of talking back.
Ah, my rights.
Welcome to the Beehive State.
Utah. Ah!
I'm going to meet some dude online and fall in love and want to leave my family.
The first 20 years, I don't know, are not going to be really great. And if they are great, then somebody's lying.
I mean, having favorites is not okay. If you want a successful family, you don't have favorites.
I am not married to 3 other women.
No, I'm just a narcissist.
I have tended to be moody and self-absorbed. I'm not a good husband.
Alright. Hi, welcome back to the recap. I'm Angie, this is Tim, and Morty's over here. And we are recapping from the interior of Mary's first Flagstaff house. There's the water feature. You can see it in the stairwell.
I've never seen it before. I thought it was just like a fountain.
I'm running out of Sister Wives locations to film at.
Well, at this timetable, Cody's going to want them to move soon anyway, so who cares?
So for announcements, anything going on in the Sister Wives universe?
I suppose things happened.
Savannah graduated last weekend from Flagstaff High School. A lot of the family were in attendance, but Robin, again, is nowhere to be seen.
Wouldn't it be awful if we all found out she had some horrible debilitating disease or something, and that's why she's just such an omega
She doesn't have a debilitating disease. Then she would probably milk that for the cameras.
Good point.
Christine officiated a wedding of 2 fans, and they posted that on Instagram. So now we had 2 officiants of the family.
I'm just wondering who on earth cares so much about Sister Wives that they would have them do that at their wedding.
Since we watch the show, well, I watch the show so much, that would be cool to have a cameo from someone in the family. Do something for us.
Yeah, but for such an important thing in your life, it seems kind of tacky. Anyway, whatever.
Well, weddings are tacky to begin with. They're very self-indulgent. Okay, other announcements relating to us. This is the last episode of season 17 because I started the recap at episode 9. And we are recapping episode 8. So I'm not quite sure what I want to do after this. I might want to do what other Sister Wives recappers do, where they go back to season 1, recap from the very beginning.
Shorter episodes, more things happening.
I guess because when you introduce someone, there's a lot to fill in. And as time goes on, the producers try to find more interesting things to do with these same people.
I think just the producers are lazy.
That's why I wanted to do Married at First Sight, because it's a new 10 people every season.
Yes, but I'd have the same 6 things I would say over and over again. The show is inherently flawed. All these people are bad. I hate the experts. Do the producers choose them or the experts choose them? Why can't any of these people get over themselves? And we're going to go on some stupid ass...
Slippy slide.
Right, a slippy slide.
Okay. I don't know. I feel you'd be just pouring with marital wisdom.
That's what she says now.
Why?
Because I'm not so wise all the rest of the time.
I'll listen to you if we get to recap that show.
Anyway, keep going.
So, let's do this. Sister Wives Season 17, Episode 8. Hang on with me. We start off where we left off. We are at Christine's house under a heavy rainstorm. The deluge doesn't seem to affect Christine in the slightest, since she is anxiously taking inventory of her garage to see what items to keep and what to burn. The first confessional of the episode comes from Cody, where he affirms that despite Christine's multiple warnings to pick up his boxes from the garage, he was too preoccupied with his work to do something so mundane. I'm busy. I got work to do. And now she's put this inconvenient big thing on my plate. What am I supposed to do? And I was thinking, he literally has a huge ass truck that can haul a fifth wheel's weight. And he's whining about packing some boxes in the back.
My mind boggles just imagining Cody being busy with anything.
Yeah, me neither. I can't picture him being a busy man. In my head, he's just lounging about, complaining, and then dancing.
Yes.
Christine explains that she had to pack up Cody's possessions for him because he would have just refused to do that on his own.
Accurate.
Cody excuses himself that the reason why he can't take his things at the moment is because he hasn't the space to store it. I don't have a corner. I don't have anything. We are given more flashback footage from a previous episode that Cody has quadrupled the amount a normal man would have needed due to having once lived in 4 houses. This kind of goes with what I said in a previous episode where, Cody, you really need to do a garage sale. But then again, I think Robin is probably a hoarder, so she wouldn't want to sell anything.
Yeah, probably.
We eventually get the footage where Cody begrudgingly meets up with Christine to discuss what is left of their shared furniture that she is planning on selling. There are more uneventful exchanges about what items to keep. The man who said a few episodes ago that he was never in love with Christine, nor ever found her attractive, then tells us that he does have an emotional attachment to her, which is why he's having a hard time letting go of this house.
He doesn't have an emotional attachment to her. He has an emotional attachment to the idea of having her.
What was it you said before? He's attached to the idea that he's a man women want. As rain continues to pour, Christine happily imparts her agenda to him. My goal is to get rid of as much stuff as possible, so I'm not over-encumbered during the move. This is why I wanted you to take that table so bad. Mr. Fake Child Custody Agreement complains that he thought Christine leaving would leave them in a situation where they would sit down and divide their assets 50-50. But she went ahead and sold a lot of the stuff that was ours. Christine has to remind him, my name is on the property, and it's also on this house. Instead of doing this complicated 50-50 thing, why don't I just keep the proceedings of my house, and the family keeps everything from Coyote Pass? I don't want anything to do with this land. She gives some backstory of how fortunate she is to have the house in her name, due to most polygamous women not being taken care of once they decide to leave the husband. This revelation is immediately contrasted with Cody saying that it is the women who own all the assets, because once the government finds out you're cohabitating, they will take the man's property, which didn't make sense to me, since at that point the wife is also cohabitating. Wouldn't her property also be seized? It takes at least 2 to cohabitate, which again, the state does not care about unless you're breaking other laws.
And that's the thing. Cody's reality is based entirely on what he thinks is going to make himself look best at any point in time.
Cody, the manipulator, says it's unfair to Janelle, who really wanted to construct on Coyote Pass, but that horrible Christine is using the house sale money to buy another house to live in. Can you imagine how selfish she is? Which is funny because during the first Tell All the Family Did, at the end of season 1, Cody tried to present himself as a unique, charitable, polygamist, where if one of his wives left him, he would buy the wife leaving the house and the house next to it for the sake of him being able to see his kids. Nowadays, he pays someone $20 an hour to not see his kids.
If they wanted to leave, they'd absolutely be free in that.
And you all have that choice.
Right. If any one of them chose to leave, they would get the children. I would just work double time and do all I could to actually make it. It'd be like, hey, if you're going to take the kids, can you move in the house next to us and I'll pay you more. I'll buy the house. I'll do whatever. I'll work extra time. I'll do whatever it takes to make this.
So the kids can
be close. To keep it for the sake of the kids being close. Whatever it takes.
Oh, how times have changed.
He's a jackass.
Christine says that her plan is better since Cody's idea of 50-50 is complex and a bunch of nonsense that he doesn't actually understand.
That's the most real thing ever. That his entire concept is something that he himself doesn't understand. Love it.
50-50 means getting some sort of legal arrangement in place. If I wanted to involve our legal system, that would mean assessing Cody and Robin's property, including their mansion and land. Half of that would be mine. That shouldn't make any sense to him. I'd rather this be clean and easy for the both of us. We then hear some blood pressure-inducing statements from Cody. What I meant by 50-50 was that I would get to keep 100% of my things that I share with the other wives and 100% of Christine's house. That's what it means, right? She doesn't have access to the rest of the wives' assets or even my assets that I share with the other wives.
Cody's obnoxious. He's like a comic book level villain at this point. The idea that Cody doesn't see that he is the bad one is laughable.
He's just parody levels of a jerk, and I don't understand how he cannot see that.
Yeah, the thing about Cody is you can never tell whether or not what he said is something he actually said or someone making fun of him because they're so similar. This guy is so unaware.
We get back to the conversation outside the garage. Cody gets worried. Wait, are you ready to sell this place? Do you have a realtor already? Christine confirms that notion. Yes, I do. She told me this place is going to sell really fast. This is because at the moment, there are only 2 other properties available to purchase in this entire valley. Cody then awkwardly replies, then I guess would be a good time to sell.
Like Cody would know.
Christine, he doesn't know when to sell houses.
No, he has historically been very bad at predicting the housing market.
It's just a quick Zillow search and you can see how much money he lost by looking up those Vegas houses.
I love his stupid graph that he drew. And he just, this is where we are. Guess what, man? If you could predict the next 2 months of anything, then you would be the richest person in the world. So don't pretend that you can predict these things just to trick these poorly educated polygamy women into moving to Coyote Pass.
Christine, not believing his compliant answer, asks him, is it? He then stares at the ground for a good 10 seconds and agrees. The ex-sister wife then takes this as a positive indication to tell Cody more of her future plans. Can I just tell you how thrilled I am that you agreed because I've been praying so hard about this thing right here. The sale of my house has been keeping me up at night, and to me it just made so much sense. Mr. Wiffle Waffle then backtracks on the couch. I know I agreed to it. It's done. She's moving forward. But this is unfair to me. He gripes some more about how Coyote Pass isn't paid off yet. I know she gave us her lot, but Christine is walking away with our money that was meant to pay off the land. The whole family helped Christine buy that house. She came into Coyote Pass with us as an agreement. Now she's walking away with the equity. The equity is technically the family's. This is so convoluted. This is not cut and dried.
Dried?
Yes, he said dried.
Oh, howdy, this man.
This talking head is immediately juxtaposed with Janelle's stance on Christine financially severing herself. I think it's fair Christine is taking her equity. We gave money from the family pot to Robin and Christine to buy their houses, and she didn't mention Mary or herself.
Mm-hmm.
The equity of Christine's lot on Coyote Pass is roughly the same amount to her equity in her house. So I was perplexed by that confession because I had to Google what Christine's lot was. And according to the Insider, her lot was valued at $213,000. But her house was sold for $700,000.
$700,000, good God.
It's what I supposed from the last episode where I suspected Cody knew the house was worth more than the land, which is why he was so adamant that Christine give the house to the family first and then they pay her off. So I'm not sure why Janelle is saying this. Maybe they're equal now because the land appreciated in value and is now also worth $700,000. I have no idea.
Yeah, she's probably just wrong.
Regardless, Janelle claims this is a really clean and easy transaction. After the house topic, we segue into a conversation about the furniture. Cody looks behind him and asks Christine what she is going to do with their bedroom stuff. Christine has her hands on her hips and smiles. I'm selling it. I'm starting over with the bedroom set as well. I just need a new one. Some sad piano music then starts to play as Cody walks around the deconstructed bed frame. We get his perspective. I'm just sitting here in this sort of weird place. I wouldn't call it denial, but I'm attached to this house. The furniture, the kids, everything in this house is not mine anymore. And he took that to the extreme because now he doesn't claim Christine's kids as his anymore.
The house was never fudging his. They've been here for like 2 years?
No, since 2018. This is 2018? They moved to Flagstaff.
I have no idea.
Anyways, the editors then grace us with some old pics of when Cody was a new polygamist as he's surrounded by the OG3. Then a flash-forward family portrait to Robin being added. Now that the house is officially on the market, I guess there's no choice but to get used to this. Their meeting ends and Cody goes back home. Christine tells us that despite notifying Cody, she didn't want his input. I've involved him in this decision, but in the end, I'll decide what gets done with my house because it's my name on it. Our marriage didn't work, so I'm moving on, which does include moving Cody.
You know, good on her. She managed to hurt Cody, which is something that I can appreciate.
Change of scenery. We are now at the fifth wheel, where Janelle narrates that she has been living in the trailer full-time for about a month. She admits that it was a rude awakening to just hook up the basic necessities, which someone living in town wouldn't have to think twice about. Regardless, she declares that she wouldn't want it any other way. I love it. I love waking up to the mountain. I just love being out here. Cody pulls up to Janelle's digs, and of course has to start off his couch interview with, living in a trailer is an absolute inconvenience for me. Janelle thinks it fun, but it seems every day there is a new problem. I know she doesn't mind these hassles, but there's something in me that just wants to gloat and say, told you so.
It's weird that Cody thinks that something making him inconvenient is something bad. Like we really are cheering for Cody. He's asking for pity about how inconvenient this is. And it's like, Cody, your head is so far up your own
At the moment, they are contemplating an easier way to get the water in the jugs Janelle has cranked by hand into the tank. If we're conservative, the water lasts us a day and a half at most. Someone who is struggling with living on the land is Savannah. Janelle says that her teenager is still on board, but describes her as having a miserable experience. She wants to get the house built, but I know that this has been rough on her. And in the end, they never got that casita built, and Savannah is now graduated, and I'm assuming going away for college.
People are terrible at making decisions about their future.
It seems to me that these people tend to make the wrong decisions at the wrong time.
Boy, howdy.
Commercial break. And we get footage of Robin and Mary stating how shocked they are that Christine has divorced. The two decide to meet up in person to gossip about what a horrible of a sister wife Christine was to them. Robin starts off with some complaints as to why Mary decided to stay silent during the conversation several months ago when Christine told the fam she was leaving Cody. And this reminded me of the knife in the kidney scene where Cody also complained to Mary that she didn't participate in the family discussion. You look like the cat that ate the mouse. All three of these people accuse the other party actions they are guilty of.
I think you meant the cat that ate the canary.
Yes, but that's what Cody said.
Such a dumbass.
Robin continues to pester Mary why she didn't intervene more in the rift between Christine and Cody. Mary rightly claims it's her relationship with him. Robin gets annoyed. Yeah, but it affects us. And this assertion, watching in hindsight, was very obnoxious because in the last tell-all, Robin said that the wives decided to be stupid in their marriages and to leave her out of it. But in this moment, when she's trying to manipulate Mary to doing something she wants, aka talk on her behalf. She tells her that they do have a stake in this marriage because it affects us all.
She wants it both ways.
Mrs. Wiffle Waffle then goes, supposedly it doesn't affect us. We're not a part of their relationship. But that's bullcrap. It's so crazy to just sit there and watch this bomb go off in my family.
She wants her cake and she wants to eat it too. She wants her family, but to abuse it too. It's obnoxious.
Terrible. Janelle laments that she isn't sure if they have a family anymore because of this big change of venue. Cody butts in and says, yeah, we do have a family. It's just that Christine isn't in it anymore. Robin continues to gossip with Mary, blaming her ex-sister wife for not working on her marriage, even though Robin, gave the go-ahead to sleep on Christine's couch after she heard that she kicked him out of their bedroom. Unlike Robin, Mary is instead angry at Cody about the ordeal.
Thank you.
Cody obviously didn't want to fight for her because he didn't care enough to do that. He didn't care enough to fight for me either. I don't understand.
What's there not to understand?
She says all of this on the couch, though, so she doesn't anger the favored wife. To her face, she sucks up to Robin. I feel betrayed, but I can't imagine how Cody must be feeling. And this is another reason why I hate Mary. It's obvious she has an opinion that Cody is a terrible partner.
But she holds it in just in order to try to keep everything together.
Yeah, and she curates that opinion to brown-nose the person in front of her. Robin responds with, he's such a mess right now. On the couch, she reveals how paranoid her husband has been with her. He starts to ask me questions about things in our relationship, things I thought he knew about us. He doesn't trust anyone right now. I know he's going through this whirlwind of a divorce with Christine, but he still needs to maintain 3 of his remaining relationships. He needs to figure out how to get over his anger, lest he ruins the rest of his marriages.
We all see how well that worked out.
Mary, who's trying to get into Cody's good graces, then asks Robin, do you think Christine was just being a liar all these years?
What?
She obviously said she wanted sister wives. And I thought, obviously Christine wanted the sister wives, but in order to be one, she had to be a wife to a man, and that man wasn't good to her. Wanting sister wives and wanting to be married to a supportive spouse aren't mutually exclusive desires, Mary.
Yeah, it seems like victim blaming. They are getting all defensive about it.
We don't want to feel like we did anything wrong, so we're just gonna put this all on you.
This is all your fault.
Mary gives us her reasoning as to why she continues being in a loveless sham of a marriage to Cody. I'm still here because I had a confirmation from God that I was supposed to be married to him. And married to him, I'll stay. That B-word Christine came into this family and decided to leave, and she didn't even talk to me about it. And when I heard that line, I was thinking, that's a fucking lie. During one of the earlier seasons, when Mary broke her leg, Christine decided to visit her and lament how she wasn't able to take family pictures together with Cody because they as a couple weren't in a solid place. And Mary basically dismissed Christine, saying that she needed to do all the work until Cody decided to come around.
She just needed to be fun, right?
This is probably why Christine doesn't get vulnerable with you, Mary, because you say invalidating like this. And like you said, don't talk about your relationship. Just have fun.
Yeah, that's worked so well for you, Mary.
And that's also exactly what Cody says to Christine. Why do we have to talk about our relationship?
Because the relationship is bad. Yeah, but why do we have to talk about it? Can't we just,
do paintball?
Why can't we just suck it up and suffer so that me and Robin can live in our castle?
Christine then gives us the theme of the season. I agreed to be a sister wife, but I agreed to be an equal wife. Mary then says that the divorce is hard on her because she's always seen Christine as a sister wife and a friend for a lot of years.
For a lot of years. Such a weird way of phrasing it. It sounds like, well, we weren't friends for most of that time, but for a lot of them.
Yeah, for maybe like 2 years. Is that a lot?
I know.
Mary, the friend who would humiliate her in front of her own family, which is why Christine said in the tell-all she didn't want a relationship with her moving forward.
Who would?
We believe that this was the family structure that was for us, and then all of a sudden, everyone's changing their minds because it was hard. I'm taking this real personal, but I'm not going to cry about it and get pissed off.
Wait, is that Cody or Rob?
This is Mary.
This is Mary? Okay. Cody and Mary are the same person.
I hate recapping Mary's bull. I can talk all day about how much Cody and Robin are jerks, but what makes Mary so terrible is that she is treated worse than Christine, and she has the nerve to still act like a pick-me wife. If she does and says and sides against the people her abusers hate, maybe she'll fall into their favor. And I'll say this again and again. This is why Mary is my least favorite character on this show. All sympathy for her is drained more and more out of me every time I listen to her talk.
She's such a two-faced
rat.
So fake.
Cody disputes Christine. She was equal. She just wanted to be loved without giving love. She just wanted to be more equal than others. Yeah, I had to stop and pause for a second because Christine revealed that he spent 2 or 3 days out of 800 days doing quality time with her children. I'm not sure how much less equal time she can get than that.
Cody is so far removed from reality. He really, really has no idea who he is. He's so full of
Robin and Cody are sharing their own made-up reality because for someone who isn't part of an MLM like the rest of the women, she says the most pyramid scheming line of the season. There's so much investment here in this family. You don't just let that go. And I thought, okay, at this point you were married 11 years to Cody, but you invested 9 years into your ex before you decided to let that go. Christine has been in a 27-year-long floundering marriage at this point, so shut up.
And also, you have no idea what her marriage is like.
She's just angry that she's losing something. Janelle finally brings some much-needed clarity into this Christine-bashing montage. Regardless of the work they've done, all the sacrifices that they've made, why would you tell someone that they have to stay even though they're unhappy? Robin persists on complaining. I just don't want to admit that the family we've had is gone.
Robin just doesn't want to admit that the family that they had never existed.
To the producers, Christine smiles again. Well, they don't have a choice. Someone who definitely has a choice to work on his relationship with a current wife is Cody, who was asked in his confessional about him and Mary. I didn't give up on Mary. I just found the relationship to be unstable. The marriage just proved to be untenable. I have decided that this is not a functional relationship anymore.
That's giving up.
But I didn't give up on her. This again reminded me of the favored versus favorite wife bullshit. Does he not realize that words are the same words, no matter how much you scramble it up?
Yeah.
We get more sad, but nevertheless unsympathetic stories. From Mary, how people are always telling her on every platform as to why she continues being with Cody despite him flat out telling the whole world on national TV he hates her. I think on it. I pray on it. I meditate on it. I always come to this peaceful answer that God wants me to stay with this narcissist.
Religion. It's a hell of a drug.
Upon hearing that a paycheck is unwaveringly deciding to stay, Robin perks up. I'm just grateful that you're sticking it out. Your income, you belong with us. Hang on with me, okay? We have to rebuild. We have to rebuild my depleted geode fund. I wanted that big picture for my family. I wanted to give that to my kids. Ari's 5 and she won't be able to experience a plural lifestyle. I know I say I wanted it for my kids, but I wanted it for my benefit as well. I had other choices. But none of those choices came with a $20,000 to $40,000 per episode paycheck. But I chose this. This is what I wanted. I have to watch as they destroy what I wanted.
I came in here to steal this because I wanted it for me, and then you guys destroyed it, and I'm so upset. You were never part of it. You were a spectator.
Oh, and another thing about what she said, they destroyed what I wanted. At this point, Christine was the only one that has left. Who is they that she is referring to? Janelle and Mary are still married to Cody.
She might be mad at Cody. You know what they say. When all the wives leave the husband, the one wife that was most dedicated will leave too because she didn't want just the man. She wanted the family. Thus leaving the man with nothing.
Mary snivels and replies, I am hanging on.
There's the meme from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where there's this guy hanging from a building and his brother is holding him by his hand saying, "Hang on!" And then here comes Danny DeVito with the 2x4 and starts trying to push the guy off.
I got you, brother. Oh, no, you don't. What are you doing? Stop. Why are you doing that?
He's like, why haven't you fallen yet?
There's Robin holding on to Mary, Mary hanging on to Robin, and then Cody come over with the 2x4 just pushed in her face.
Where were we? Oh yeah, hang on with me. So at this point, I'd had to say, Robin, you are not a good sister wife. You're not even a good friend if you force your friend to stick around for your convenience.
Mm-hmm.
More tall tales from the favored wife. I would never do anything to this family to hurt it, except tell my children that their moms and siblings don't want to have anything to do with them.
Yeah.
I just wish people could see that. Because to this day, Robin still alienates her children from the OG kids. Robin's kids didn't go to Gwen's engagement party in Flagstaff. They didn't go to Savannah's culmination in Flagstaff. And someone looked this up. There was no limit to how many family members could attend a graduating senior ceremony of the high school. Robin's part of the family didn't go to Savannah's graduation party, despite the entire family having flown there for the occasion. Maybe that has a little something to do with what you're telling your children. So, yes, you would do something to hurt this family.
I think Robin has a victim complex where she thinks everybody is trying to victimize her, and so she puts that on her kids.
I don't know why they didn't go to anything. Granted that the graduation party was in Utah, so that would have required them to travel, because the ones who weren't at the culmination ceremony were at least at the party, and vice versa for the ones who weren't at the party but they were at the ceremony. Robin's part of the family weren't in any of the photos, so I'm assuming they just didn't go again. Robin gives more ridiculous motivation for Mary. I'm glad that you've decided to not make it about you and him. It's about all of the entire family. Well, according to certain kids' interviews and Patreons, most of the children, aka most of the family, also want nothing to do with Mary. So who is that sentiment for?
It's for Robin.
She contradicts her statements and says that she wouldn't blame Mary if she decided she was tired of hanging on and decided to give up. She claims that she doesn't care for the romantic part of her marriage, only that the man she was marrying was good to her and her children. That was the ultimate, most important thing. And I believe that part because Cody was such a good man in her eyes that he was willing to cannibalize his previous 3 families to sustain hers.
I don't like Robin.
They then transitioned to talking about an unavoidable issue in plural marriage. Jealousy.
Oh my God. Okay, I hate when they talk about jealousy because they'll just say, oh, there's a problem in your marriage. Oh, I'm giving all of my love and affection to this wife. That's not actually a problem. The problem is you. You feel uncomfortable in the situation I'm putting you in. That's because of you.
It's a cult mentality. We watch a flashback to season 1 during Mary and Cody's 20th wedding anniversary, where Mary asked him the precarious question of what would you do if the roles were reversed and you had to share me with brother husbands. Cody then answers with a more up-to-date response. I'd probably be a nutcase if the roles were reversed, but at the same time, no. As men, we would just bond differently. We'd play video games, high-five each other, and the wife would probably wish we'd be getting something done. Robin doesn't believe this declaration since she emphasizes how jealous Cody becomes when her ex is mentioned. And with all the snark that's going on social media, Cody is probably flipping out 24/7. With Christine's new man. So I believe Robin when she says that.
I just like the idea of Cody suffering.
Because there was a post where David, Christine's fiance, said in an Instagram post, I just love eating nachos with my queen. I don't know if he understood the reference.
There's no way on earth that anyone would take a picture of themselves eating nachos for any other reason than for throwing shade.
Robin says that this divorce is detrimental to the well-beings of the kids, to which Mary counters her claim, saying that when she inquired Christine on that, Christine replied that all the kids are supportive of her leaving. Robin then gives a grimace that looks like this.
She always has a weird face.
Because what Robin meant by kids was her children.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't consider the OG kids the kids. Mary questions, what does that mean that they're all for her leaving? Robin replies, saying, that means they're only hearing one side of the story. Oh, just like you tell your kids one side of the story.
You don't even let your kids talk to the other wives.
Yes, you sequester them from their own family.
Again, you accuse other people of the things that you do.
This is intercut with Cody whining that the adult children haven't heard his side of the story. The only ones who have are Robin and Mary. And he forgot to mention Robin's 3 oldest. Christine gets upset, where I assume she sees this footage of this exchange between Mary and Robin in her camera interview. If you are so upset as to why I didn't voice my feelings concerning leaving as a sister wife and this marriage, why didn't you come to me and ask me personally instead of speculating amongst the 3 of you? The only person who reached out to me was Janelle. Because again, Cody, Robin, and Mary are sort of like the same person, where their means of communication is standing right where they are and having everyone else come to them.
Yeah, they're pretty passive.
Aggressive.
Yeah, passive aggressive.
Mary inquires Robin if she saw signs of Christine's unhappiness pre-Flagstaff move. Robin, being her devious self, then says, truth be told, Mary, she was thinking of leaving in Vegas, which is infuriating again because a few episodes later, during the Knife and the Kidneys episode, she invalidates Christine's struggles in Vegas. Here is a clip of it.
Do you think this was coming before Flagstaff? Truth be told, Mary, she was talking about leaving Cody before he moved to Flagstaff. I've always wanted her to be happy. I've always wanted her to be happy. She just hasn't seemed happy for a really long time. Yeah. Why were they asking that?
They asked, they saw how things were in our family. They saw how separate we've been in Flagstaff.
But that's the family group. That's the culture, not the individual relationships.
They also saw that Cody and I have been struggling for a long time. The kids were like, it looked like in Vegas that you and Dad weren't really close anymore. And
in Vegas?
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's a lie.
Okay, well.
Because I remember the conversations. I remember what was going on. I remember Janelle and Cody making their relationship better than it ever had been. I remember him talking with you. I remember you guys having fun dates and hearing about that and seeing you guys' relationship. So either you guys were faking it in front of me. I don't know.
You know, I don't know exactly why she's saying I'm lying. Cody and I did struggle in Vegas, and my kids did see it.
You know, she's sitting here saying that everybody's relationships were struggling in Las Vegas and we didn't have what we had, and that, you know, Cody and I were the only ones that were okay. You know, that's not true.
That's so out of nowhere.
Cody then tells us a puzzling storyline that the family was dysfunctional since the get-go. They were just able to mask it better since they had a truckload of children to take care of. So they, for the most part, were living distracted lives. That was my whole goal, was to distract the kids enough so they would have a quality experience with one another and with us. And this was an utter failure because both Gwen and Peyton have revealed on YouTube that Cody stopped being a good father around the time they were 8 or 10, respectively. During her reaction videos, Gwen would cry at the parts when she saw how good of a father Cody was to Saul and Ari when they came home from school. That was an experience she only got from her mom. So no, Cody, you did not provide this quality experience despite all the sacrifices that were made.
I think that Cody divorced his family when he married Robin.
Yeah.
He just didn't want to have to tell anybody that he did.
The more you think about it, the more it makes sense. Cody didn't marry Robin because he wanted an additional wife. He married Robin because he didn't want to have his old family.
Yeah, I mean, the way that Gwen describes it, he's such a good father to these new kids. It's just if you have a crappy father that gets divorced and marries and has a new family, and he's so good with his new family, that's what it feels like.
Robin, like Cody, wants Christine to stay in Flagstaff and date for their convenience. I would have no problem with that. Christine's reaction is just what you would expect. Why the would I date anyone in Flagstaff? I'm not even going to live here. Cody still believes that Christine's motivation for going to Utah is for a man. Robin says that she would be willing to try something new in order to get Christine to feel comfortable enough to live in Flagstaff. But this is met with Mary shaking her head. No, I'm not comfortable enough to do that. I'm not in that place right now. The brunette fires back. Well, I had to get to a better place because of you. We then get some backstory, of all things, when Mary was having an online relationship with a catfish. She told Cody that they needed a break whilst this fiasco of an affair was taking place. Cody interpreted that as a permanent break and never tried to mend things from that incident. That was a weird response coming from Robin, where she's saying, maybe we can have something new with Christine, and Mary's saying, I don't want to change things. And Robin gets angry saying, well, dynamics in the family had to change because of what you did. So buck up and we'll do this again.
Robin is like, oh, Mary, stay with me, Mary. Stay with me, Mary. And then Christine's like, oh, okay, but I need something. And then Robin's like, fuck you. I'm still mad at you for that you pulled. You can tell that Mary is in this weird relationship where she's desperate for Robin's approval, but Robin, at the drop of a hat, is just going to be like, I'm still not over that, you bitch. And it's like, this is the one person who wants to stay, and Robin still is just, I've got to hold all I can over on this woman. It's the worst.
What a great friend.
Robin is the worst friend.
Robin then gives us whiplash that she wouldn't blame Christine for wanting to find her own happiness. I want her to be happy. I really, really do. I've never struggled this badly in my marriage with Cody as he's going through this tumultuous separation. Well, suck it up, Robin, because he's about to go through 2 more of these. You don't know how bad it can get.
After that, there's probably going to be another one.
Mary spews more BS that the problem in the family isn't plural marriage because each one of the parents had the capacity to work through the hard times and get through them. And to me, that just screams, each of us had the capacity to keep ignoring our problems out of existence. It's the superficial stuff that are the things that count, right? Because this is the same opinion she spouted at Isabelle's party, where she's, why can't we stay together for the good times, such as these?
Yeah, so the things that really matter are the fun parties. It's not the day-by-day crippling sense of existential horror, realizing that you've attached your life to the human failure that is Cody Brown. And every single day you realize more and more and more that your religion is a joke and that it's all just a ploy so that old men could marry, 24 underage little girls.
But she can't admit that to herself because at that point she would be admitting that her whole life is a lie.
Sunk cost fallacy back again.
We are then subjected to the get-together of Brian and Cody. Cody throws a peace sign to the camera. It's time for a post-wedding update between Brian and Cody. He reiterates how long Brian and he have been friends and business partners. They are coming back from doing a gun show in Reno, Nevada. And I was thinking, if you're doing business in Nevada, why did you leave Las Vegas? Because it was speculated that Cody moved to Flagstaff since in the aftermath of the 2017 Vegas shooting, it was harder for him to sell guns. The fam could have just moved to somewhere in Nevada instead of Arizona because it's 24 hours round trip to get to Flagstaff, Reno, and back.
Because he's full of shit.
Again, Cody has to restate that he was the officiant who married Brian and Judith. He owns up to his friend that he had been battling his own mixed emotions concerning marriage whilst he was in the midst of coming up with their sermon. Robin told her husband to shove those feelings somewhere else for the sake of his continued friendship with Brian.
That's actually probably the correct thing to do.
Cody even gives his current stance on what this institution means to him. Marriage is the biggest investment a human can make, I believe. Because we live in a society that has a 50% divorce rate, it stands up to reason to say half of us make the wrong choice when we embark on this journey with someone. He then probes Brian of his marriage to Judith. So are you happily married? Brian nods and ricochets this question right back to him. I am. How about you? Happily married? Cody nervously laughs and lies to us. I'm happily married to 2 women.
Which ones is he even talking about?
I guess he's talking about Robin and Janelle, but according to Robin, he's not happily married to any of them.
Then they're not in the same fantasy reality.
Brian gives more insight into the ex-polygamist's character. I've known Cody for the majority of the time he's been a married man. I remember when Mary, Janelle, and Christine lived in one house, where them and all the kids were under a single roof. My heart goes out to Cody seeing this family's curated fall apart. My thoughts are also with Christine. I consider her a longtime friend as well. I'd love for both of them to come to a place where they are both happy people again. Well, Christine has already gotten there. We are back at her house where she tells us that she sold off her bed furniture. It's a dichotomy of emotions for her since the king-sized bed was where she had the majority of her children.
Ew.
They show younger pictures of Christine and baby Aspen. It's definitely a bittersweet parting. I'm thinking, girl, you held on to that mattress for, how old is Aspen? 26 at this point? For that long?
God, that mattress must have had more culture than the entire family.
Aside from my babies, my bed was also a symbol of how toxic of a marriage we had. I'm not bringing that toxicity with me into my new house.
Good idea.
I've given the best years of my life to that man, and in the end, he just shrugged his shoulders at me. I'm not young anymore. I'm 49, which can make finding that special someone more difficult.
49?
I know, that's what polygamy will do to you.
Polygamy, one hell of a drug, okay.
I hope that I can find love again, and I hope I can be in a relationship with someone who loves me. I want to find that someone who wants to be married to me and is attracted to me. And woo, Christine, you were able to do that within a year, 2 years? Cody whinges how embarrassing it is to be in a place of being left. I feel so pathetic because I'm just sitting here being the divorce denier while she's over there going, wahoo, I'm free. That disparity is what's driving me nuts. Keep in mind, I've also given her the best years of my life.
No, you haven't.
And I'm thinking, you don't get to say I've given my best years to someone when you're a polygamous man. You've already split your life with multiple women. That woman already doesn't get 100% of your years. So that statement means nothing.
Yeah.
Christine ends her confessional with an optimistic outlook. Even though the future is a blank slate, all I know is that I'd rather be alone and love myself than to be with someone who doesn't love me. Reminds me of what's that song by Miley Cyrus? I can buy myself flowers.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you know what Cody is? Cody is Taylor Swift. Or he just is stewing about how angry he is about his past relationships till the day he dies.
Oh gosh. So Christina is very optimistic about these unknowns. Someone who is also optimistic about her bright future is Isabelle, who is moving to North Carolina for college and to live in Caleb and Maddie's house. Christine declares Truly and her are moving Izzy permanently to the East Coast, which doesn't turn out to be as permanent as she thought because Isabelle transferred to University of Utah and lives near her mom now.
Okay.
The morning of the move, Isabelle explains how excited she is as she brushes Truly's hair. Truly is upset to see her sister move out, but is comforted knowing that they will keep in touch via phone. Gwen proclaims Isabelle is her favorite sibling, then stops short and catches herself. Am I allowed to say that? She continues on, saying that they are very close sisters, and it's going to be awkward having an empty room in the house. To the producers, Isabelle articulates that the change of environment will be good for her. In Flagstaff, she was subjected to the loveless marriage of her parents, and in North Carolina, she will get exposure to what a healthy marriage is supposed to look like. As she says this, family portraits of Caleb, Maddie, Axel, and Evie are shown. Janelle affirms this outlook on the couch, where Isabelle would get a better understanding of what a functional monogamous dynamic is like. These two snippets are instantly set side by side against Cody's POV. I'm pretty sure we never exposed our marriage difficulties to the kids whilst we were in Vegas. At least I wasn't.
I barely talk to my kids at all.
He goes on, but before the pandemic, I heard in the rumor mill that Christine was thinking about leaving me.
He is the rumor mill. It's him, Robin, and Mary.
Robin compliments Isabelle's character of how sweet and loving she is, and it's going to feel awkward to not have her around. And I thought, lady, you don't let your part of the family see Christine's daughters. You should already be used to not seeing her around.
Yeah, but she likes to have the option to not see them.
Like Cody. Isabelle explains how her father will be helping her in this transition of her life. he isn't. She claims it's because he has children in Flagstaff, so he can't be absent from their lives for very long. She also says, COVID is still a thing. And this was upsetting for a couple of reasons. Isabelle is saying her father can't come with her because he has children that he can't stay away from, which sort of denotes that Isabelle's not one of his children. And reason 2, he just went to a wedding a few weeks prior to this move. So COVID is the furthest thing from his mind.
I'm not even convinced he even believes it exists.
Speaking of, we finally get to a point of honesty with Cody concerning why he isn't helping his daughter move. His excuses are not the children, nor COVID. He flat out tells us that he doesn't want to go to North Carolina because I don't want to travel with Christine. It's done. It's over. She's moved on, and I'm willing to accept that. I'm not going to take a trip with her.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
And yeah, I'm thinking then take an airplane and help Isabelle move into Maddie's house. That was one of Christine's first suggestions when Isabelle first announced she was accepted into Pitt College.
Yeah.
The episode ends with some depressing comments from Christine. The hardest part of my life is knowing my kids don't have a great relationship with their father. He doesn't even know them. It goes both ways. Because of his choices, they don't realize how amazing he is either. Despite our divorce, Cody had an awesome side to him. This was the man who I fell in love with many years ago. Obviously, he isn't that person anymore. I'm not that woman I was either. Cody defends himself that the reason he is a shitty dad is because I have 18 kids, so I'm already spread too thin. I made strides to connect with all my children, but sometimes they are so standoffish with me. I try to do things they like, but it's not always an easy connection. And this reminded me of the conversation of when he said he didn't like hanging out with Christine's daughters because he has to put in the effort to draw them out of themselves. I'd rather be with Robin, who reinforces my relationship with my own children.
This man is insufferable. He's a man-child.
He continues, what's become of my life? My whole purpose? As Isabelle backs out of the driveway, tears are streaming down her face. I don't know when I'll see him again, especially since we haven't been able to spend as much time together as we both would have wanted. I wasn't able to say goodbye to Janelle and her kids, nor Ari or Saul, and I'm thinking, why wasn't that able to happen? The communication within this family is abysmal.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Christine ends the episode with allusions of the unknown and how uncertain everything is with Isabelle's move and her own one coming up next month to Utah. End of episode.
These people are taxing. Mary is pathetic, but she's also abusive, but she's so pathetic. Robin is the manipulator of manipulators. Cody thinks that he's tough, but he's so weak, and he thinks of himself as being so strong and masculine, but he's just a whiny little baby.
Is that the summary?
Yeah, that's the summary.
It's a good summary, Tim. Thank you again.
You're welcome.
You weren't as high energy as last recap.
Long day.
Yeah, we are recording this at night. You might have noticed that this recap was uploaded a week from my last recap. I made it a goal for myself to do these in a shorter amount of time because I'm prepping for season 18. I don't know when that's coming up. I made a goal each day to animate a set amount of scenes and then do my notes all in one day.
Good job.
Thanks. I'm not sure what I want to recap, either the pilot or... Because I suspect Married at First Sight, the new season is going to come out around the end of July. I might start on that. And as soon as Sister Wives pops up in maybe September, I'm going to stop doing that and then just recap Sister Wives. But I don't really know what to do in between.
I'm sure we'll figure it out.
Okay. Here's Marty.
Hi, Morty.
He's tired.
Okay.
Kind of like Tim. Okay.
Very.
All right.
My phone fell behind the couch.
Oh, it sucks. Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye.